M4 carbine. Going to show this to you today. You've seen this rifle in several of the other videos, being fired from different ranges, different types of ammunition. But I thought I'd show it to you today because you've never seen it up close and personal. Maybe you have one. Notice I got my flashlight attachment here, but I've taken that light off for the time being. Iron sights. My paint job here was a desert tan to begin with. I let that set up for several weeks, then I painted it OD green and let that set up for several weeks. Then I blasted it with brake cleaner, and it took just enough off to where I think it's pretty neat. Some places it left it desert tan, some places it left it OD green, and of course there's your scale type paint that I had on there. Left some of that. 3-point sling on this rifle. But the main reason I'm showing it to you today is because my friend Ray at Oakwell Armory put a new trigger in it for me, Geisselle, and it's real good, man. I'm real impressed with this trigger. You just take up the take up, and then the next ounce you put on it is going to send the round down range. Take up. Boy, it's so light. Now, I haven't invested in a meter to show how much poundage there is on the trigger, but I can tell you that's very sweet. That's a very sweet trigger. And so I thought I'd show you this 5.56 Colt M4. Do a little shooting with the new trigger today, and I don't think for the money you can get a better rifle. And I think maybe the Colt competition rifles are very nice, and I might consider buying one of those in the future. And I like Daniel Defense. I like some of the Bushmaster selections, but boy, I really can't say enough about how good this Colt M4 is. You say what you want to about the price. You can say a lot of things about preferences from the military, giving them an advantage. But if I needed this rifle today and I had the choice between this and some of the more affordable rifles that are out there, I would take this one. I would take this one over some of the similarly priced rifles, and I would also take this one over some of the more expensive rifles. 5.56, it's always going to be a debate about the round and use of force with this 5.56 round and law enforcement and different things like that, but at the end of the day you want to take what works, and this Colt M4 works. There's always going to be the argument from the older veterans about how terrible an M16 performed, and I've got to say that those things are, for the most part, a thing of the past. Don't really matter what kind of weapon you got, you want to keep it clean. And even in an outdoor environment where you're camping, hiking, hunting, combat, whatever the case may be, you'll want to clean your weapon on a regular basis. I don't care if it's an AK or a M4 or a M16, whatever you've got. Bolt gun, you want to keep it clean all the time anyway. But I've had this weapon with me in a lot of situations. I've had it with me in the woods, survival style things to that nature, and I've had it fairly dirty. I've had it in some pretty grimy situations, and I can't say enough about how good this particular rifle has held up. And I've had several zeros on it. I've 25 yard, 50 yard, 100 yard, went through some various things. Right now it's zeroed at 100 yards, and that is very accurate, very surgical. I'll use that word. Up until the 25-yard line, anything from 100 back, it's dead on. Out beyond 100, it's dead on, and you have to make some adjustments after that, of course. But this 100-yard zero is very good for anything within 100 yards. I guarantee that, and there's some videos to show that. Well, today we're going to maybe go out to the range and put a few rounds in a target, just to show the effects of a new trigger on this rifle. M4 Colt, great gun, great gun. Target's blowing in the wind. It was easier just to shoot at it than to come set it back up correctly. I took a couple shots at this little bitty target here. See how big it is, 100 yards. I hit twice up above it. Had a headshot. Had a slight miss, but like I say, blowing in the wind. Punched through an old one there.